Hello friends, in today's video we will be going over the Classic Inquisitor, one of the oldest decks in the game. So keep watching if you want to know exactly how this one goes. This deck requires an intro. It's so old, a lot of people know it, but not many people know how to play it properly. So stay tuned while we continue with the intro. Let's first get into why I'm making this video. One, I've never made a video about Classic Inquisitor and I want to explain my take on this. Second, this is the only deck S+ tier on the tier list as we speak. Many people ask me why. And third, this deck requires practice. If you start playing it, you will not master it right away. You need to know what you are doing and when you are doing it. And that's what I want to try and explain as good as possible in this video. So yes, there will be a little bit more theory than usual, but if you stick with me, you might become a pro at the Classic Inquisitor deck. So if you guys like this comment, please subscribe to my channel. It will help me very much appreciated. And a big thank you for the 500 subs. Leave a like, and if you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment. Let's get into it. So everybody says this deck is hard to play. I beg to differ. The thing is, you need to go to 9 Inquisitors. And the only thing you need to follow is what I call the chain. You have to do it right from the beginning and never break the chain. If you break the chain, you have a high chance of messing up basically. The real problem with this deck is not getting the 9 Inquisitors, but it's your brain. When you first start playing this deck, it's really overwhelming. That's the first problem. The second problem is the chain. Don't break it. And what do I mean? It's basically a bunch of things compiled together, starting with your mana. Always try and save up a bunch of mana before you start making moves. If everything goes well, you don't need to use too much mana. You just kinda build it up and use it when you need to use it. Don't think like, yeah, I've got some mana, I start making some random moves. That's not the way to do this. So play calm, think about making your moves and build up the game slowly. Another question many people ask me about this deck is, when do I go for 9 Inquisitors? It's really not that hard. Once you get the mana trick, you learn it, it will speak for itself. But the biggest thing is, it all depends on the first boss you get. So let's get into the bosses real quick before we go watch some gameplay. Easy ones first. Tamer, just pay attention. The further you get into your game, the harder he basically becomes. Well, he gets harder to kill, so just make sure you have enough damage to kill him. Nothing special to consider with this one. Now for Gorgon, if this is your first boss, just make sure you have your 9 Inquisitors, or 4 if you can't get your 9 before he comes, so you can kill him quickly. But it doesn't really matter. Early in the game you can kill him quick enough, but later in the game he gets kind of hard to kill and he will rock all of your units and you'll get in trouble. So that's basically what Gorgon is all about. Nothing too tricky. Now, Warlock, early game, not much of a problem. Let's get the 9 Inquisitors before the first boss, and the later you get in the game, try and not get too many mobs on your lane, so he doesn't get too much HP, because if he stays in the lane long, especially with your slows, and you can't kill him, he starts taking out your units one by one, and then he can become a serious problem. So always try and kill him as quickly as possible. Then we have the Puppeteer. As a first boss, no problem whatsoever. If you have enough damage on the field, you will take him out in 1 second, no problem. But the later he gets, it's kind of the same as Warlock. Don't try and get him too high HP, because he will be really annoying, especially if it takes away all your skills, the levels on your skills. So just an annoying boss, try and kill him quick enough. Then we get Bedlam. He can be you know, he can be great, but he can also be such a pest. You know, if he changes your board, it's kind of RNG based, but try and make the best of it by making the right merges and trade-offs from what you get from him, especially the later you get in the game. Early on, especially as first boss, you should be able to kill him real quick, especially if you have 9 Inquisitors before he arrives, but the later you get in the game, you know, try and get as much damage, but if you get to the point where it becomes inevitable that he will start flipping, well, you know, try and make the best out of your mergers. But the most important tip is make sure if you get this boss, save as much mana that you can for when you get a bad flip, that you can, you know, get your 9 Inquisitors back as quick as possible. Last but not least, our good friend Tribunal. I hate this boss the most since his last change. If you get this one as a first boss, do not spend any mana more than you need to complete the first wave. With 1 Inquisitor, you should be just fine to complete the entire first wave, and if you combine that with Snowflake's skill, if you have Snowflake, then it's just easy peasy for that first wave. As soon as he has done his little magic there, that's when you start building your board. The later in the game it gets, the easier he gets. Just always make sure you have enough mana to be safe. Okay, after all this blah blah blah, it is time to finally start watching some gameplay. I have a game here against a Hex Inquisitor, so yeah, it's Inquisitor all over the place. As you can see, I am, you know, I have only 1 Inquisitor on the board and, you know, 2 Summoners. I don't need those 2 Summoners, you know, it's how the game goes. But very important to know at this point in the game, you know, just, I don't have to do anything now. I have to wait and I have to be patient, and you know, that's a good thing about the deck, but it's also for some people not so fun and kind of annoying that you have to wait. It's basically making a move and then wait until you have mana. That's what this playstyle is all about. So let's just do a fast forward till here. Here is where I start going for my 9 Inquisitors. This is usually the case, except for Tribunal. So the reason I go now, I still have 40 seconds left on the clock, is just because I had enough mana, and this gives me a little bit of extra time to maybe get a little bit of extra damage in, because I don't like getting flipped by Puppeteer. The changing the location of my units, I don't care, but I don't want him to de-level my skills. Not really a big deal, but you know, it's like the details. It's all in the details. I'm not really touching my Cold Mages yet. That's more for later in the game. Talking about Cold Mages, I can already hear some of you thinking, what about Frost? Well, you know, I prefer Frost, to be honest. Well, for this deck, Cold Mage is kinda nice, but you know, Frost works as well. I don't have an opinion about it. Try them both and just use what you like the most. They both work. If you want to hear more in detail what I think about Cold Mage versus Frost, go have a look at my other Inquisitor video from like a week ago on my channel, and you can find out there what I think about Cold Mage versus Frost. And here we are with another fast forward. And here you can see I start merging, trying to get some better Inquisitors and start going for maybe a higher level Cold Mage. So why did I do it? I had plenty of mana and the lane was safe, and as you can see, it quickly goes up, so I want my Inquisitors back up as quick as possible, so you need to merge quickly. And as you can see, it's, you know, once you get them back up, I got my first tier 3 Inquisitor. You can see how quickly I can melt them down, and now we just wait and we're ready for Gorgon. As you can see, we still have plenty of mana left in the bank. I haven't even leveled up my Cold Mage yet because I don't need to at this point. But if things go bad, we still have my skill from Snowflake as a last resort. Anyway, we're killing Gorgon really fast. That's all what we want. We got 2 units rocked by him, but it really doesn't matter. We had plenty of damage, and that's what you want to achieve. As I said, I have plenty of mana, so I will continue trying to improve my board to get better Cold Mages and get higher level Inquisitors. Remember what I said about the chain. Don't start doing this when you don't have enough mana. It's very crucial. Try and, stop the urge of using the little bit of mana you have. Always calculate when you are going to start building your board. This is the most important part playing this deck. Another fast forward to the action. As I pointed out in the boss section, we get Gorgon a bit later in the game. He's got more health and everything. So as you can see, he starts putting rocks on my units. We want to avoid this at all cost and have enough damage to take him out before he freezes our entire board. Remember this, and let's move on to our next point of action. So we just faced Tribunal, and we are, going to rebuild our board a little bit to make it a bit stronger again. I have the mana to do it, and as you also could have seen during the game so far, whenever I start building my board or trying to make it better, it happens when I have enough mana. I can't stress this enough. Don't make any moves if you don't have the mana to back it up. Now, another thing I haven't mentioned yet, as you can see, we have 2 tier 3 or higher Cold Mages on the board. This is what you want to achieve, and I would even say try and get 3 of them. It's a bit overkill, but as you can see, basically as soon as the monsters come into the field, they are getting slowed. With the third one, it would be as soon as they come out of the gate, basically. So keep that in mind. And as you can see, the game is nearing its end, and yeah, I will be beating our friend Dobos. And from beating one guy, let's go to a video where I am the one that's getting beaten by RS Raygon or Ragon, not sure how to pronounce his name. Anyway, good game to him. He won with the Corsair deck. His stats are a little bit better than mine. I played a good game. I had fun. I had a great build, and yet I lost. Sometimes that happens. You face better players, stronger players. Sometimes the difference is in the smallest details. So have a look at this game. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did, and that you learn something from it, because that's more important than actually winning the game. Let's learn from this. Okay guys, let's sum things up. So don't break the chain. Pay attention what bosses you are going to face so you can be prepared. Always have enough mana on the in your pocket to make sudden changes. Play controlled, play calmly, and don't make any moves without enough mana. As a new player, you might be overwhelmed in the beginning, but give it some time, practice, and follow the tips in this guide, and you will be going like a pro in no time. I also know the Inquisitor decks are getting boring, but it's sadly the way the meta is working right now. It's the best damage dealer in the game, so let's face it, it's what the game gives us, and I have to work with what I get. Let's hope some things change in the near future. Anyway, I hope you learned something. I hope you will become a better Inquisitor player after watching this video. And more importantly, maybe I'll get a sub from you guys, a like, a comment, all that good stuff. Come pay a visit on the Discord. You can find all the info in the description below. I wish you all a very good rest of your day, week, month, year. Everybody stay safe, and I will see you very soon on the battlefield.